Hello, speakers and leaders, and welcome to LiveWords. And today we have a few feature special guests to be speaking up that's coming up soon. But if you have never been to LiveWords before, can you type into the chat actually, if you're watching this live or the replay, have you attended a LiveWords event before? So if you have ever watched the Moth or TEDx events, it's kind of like a mixture of both. So this is one of our signature events, and let me explain really how does it work in the first place. So on the day of the event, LiveWords, speakers will be chosen to answer a question, and the question for today is, what's your story? So every speaker will have 6 minutes to come up on, well, you have to let me know, but I'll get you back on the platform here and you'll share your stories. You'll have 6 minutes. But today we have some amazing featured speakers who will be joining us soon. I'm going to bring them on to have a little chit chat before they give their stories first before that. But if you do want to speak a little bit later on, let me know in the chat. Some people have already emailed me that you do want to speak, but I do want to bring up our feature speakers. I want to welcome Leslie and Rebecca. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, so Leslie and Rebecca, later on, after you give your story, I want to dive more in, ask you more questions about like what you do, maybe how you came up with the story. Okay, but I hope you are you both excited?
I'm
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah.
Leslie's always cool.
I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick. Who wants to go? Anyone want to go first? Leslie or Rebecca? And before I go to the wheel of names, I'm gonna go to the wheel of names.
Yeah, go to the wheel of names.
Okay, here we go. The wheel of names. So if you have never seen this before. Before I go to the wheel of names, I'm gonna go to the wheel of names. Sorry. I'm replaying on the back. That was me with the YouTube open on the back. Okay, here we go. The wheel of names. So we have Leslie or Rebecca. Let's see who goes first. Okay, here we go. Full screen mode. Yay, Leslie!
Okay.
All right, and then we have Rebecca afterwards. So here, how it's going to work. We're going to have Leslie go first. Rebecca, you're going to go afterwards. And then for the people that's watching live right now, do tell me if you do want to come up and speak, and we can put your name in the name of Reel as well. So Leslie, we're going to give you the stage. You're going to have 6 minutes. This time is for you. This is your spotlight. So people might be thinking, what kind of stories can I tell? You can tell a story about something that interests you, something that you want to be known for. Anything goes. But use this time to, practice your speaking and just let us know more about you through your story. Well, Leslie, are you ready?
I'm ready as I'm going to be.
Leslie, I'm going to put on the clock as well, but for our featured speakers, I'm not going to kick you off if you go over 6 minutes.
Okay, good, thanks.
Okay, so we'll see Rebecca and myself soon. Okay, Leslie, on you.
Okay, thank you. Look at me, this snapshot named Leslie. What do you perceive? Do you see my battle scars? My fresh wounds? Can you detect if I believe in myself or if I am loved? Do you know what fight I fight right now? The answers to these questions surely cannot be found within a first encounter, a fifth, or even a 15th. So I challenge you, you who are listening, to greet others with compassion and tolerance. Temper your perceptions with an open mind. We are not simply a string of static snapshots. We are magnificent and mundane, motion pictures in the making. Our individual stories were birthed long before our conception, and they are endlessly evolving. All of us are luminous living legends. When we meet, like we meet right now, our stories touch. But this touching is just one frame in our respective movies. So we can't know one another unless we dare to bare ourselves and share our collective stories. So it follows then that if we don't know, we don't judge. I grew up in a small town, protected from the world by both of my parents. When I was a fresh-faced freshman in college, I wrote this poem. Saw a black man beating on his brother, and a white man's blood dripped on a stranger's car. And all that pent-up anger towards yesterday's tax collector exploded in the face of a drunk man passing by. So he goes home and hates the black man, and he goes home and hates the white, and both with anger and frustration, and nothing is resolved. I still remember that night. Left the dance club with my boyfriend. We just stood there and watched. I'm horrified. No one in the parking lot moved. For me, everything stopped, all but the young man's fist pounding the face of a barely standing drunk man. Propped up by some random white sedan, his blood dripped onto the hood. We turned away and got in the car, my innocence battered. I sympathized with the drunken man, the victim in my eyes, but my boyfriend sympathized with the young man, the victim in his eyes. You see, he saw himself in that young man, but I didn't. At 26, my boyfriend rocked my world. I perceived his power and persistence as promise, his intelligence and strength as stability. But in his youth, he felt trapped, frustrated, and scared. Anxiety and violence were his nightly companions. 14 years old, he lay in bed the night his mother killed a man. He glimpsed the motionless foot outside his bedroom doorway and prayed, please, please move. But it didn't. That same year, just 15 minutes north, my mother tucked my 6-year-old self into bed. Peace and warmth blanketed me nightly. Sweet mother's love greeted me with the sun. Contrasting stories developing concurrently. No wonder the opposite sympathies. Life taught me that we are made with threads of specific experiences, laced with our personal responses to them. Together, they weave our present day tapestries. When we stand before one another, do we see each other's battle scars or the fresh wounds? Do we detect at first glance who believes in themselves and who is well loved? Do we know what fight any of us are fighting right now? We can't possibly read each of our intricately woven chronicles in an instant. So I challenge you, those who are listening, to temper your perceptions with an open mind and greet one another with compassion and tolerance.
All right. Can we give a virtual round of applause to Leslie, everyone? Let her know how she was doing in the chat. If you love what Leslie was saying, let her know. Leslie, I want to ask you a few questions before we bring up Rebecca. First, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what do you do? Tell us more about yourself.
I am an artist and teacher, and with a spiritual bent. I am a personal stylist, and I hope that people learn when they work with me to accept themselves as they are and to go out in the world unapologetically themselves.
Mm. Now, when you were coming up with that story, how did you come up with it? I just want to dig through your thought process.
Well, as kind of I've learned, like looking back on other things that I've written, that's kind of a theme of just trying to accept people or respect people, and to just kind of understand that not everybody comes from the same world as you, but that doesn't mean that they don't have value. That doesn't mean that we're all not struggling. So I don't know, that's always kind of been a theme when I look back. I didn't realize it, but yeah, that sense of respecting other people, even if you're not familiar with the worlds that they come from.
That's great. Thank you so much. We got people in the chat saying, Trevon was saying, very beautiful, great story. Hey, Trevon, good to see you. Yazen, good to see you. Catherine, giving you 3 claps, virtual claps there. So Leslie, thank you for coming up. We'll bring you back up after Rebecca goes. But thank you for sharing your story with us. Rebecca, we're going to bring you on pretty soon. Well, let me bring you on the screen now. Rebecca, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. And for everyone that's in the chat, I know some of you have given me your names already, like Trevon, Yasen, Catherine. I'm not sure if you want to speak, but if you do want to speak later on, type into the chat. Yes, I want to come up and speak. Even if you gave me your name already, type it into the chat again. Rebecca, I'm going to give you the stage. I'm going to put on the timer too. Oh, Leslie, you went around like 5 minutes. Just FYI. Okay, Rebecca, we're going to give you the virtual stage. Can everyone give Rebecca a great round of virtual applause? Rebecca, this is all yours, your spotlight. Here you are.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rebecca Devaney, and I'm an emotional intelligence practitioner. I'm certified to work with businesses on emotional intelligence, but a while before that, I was a baby. And when I was a baby, my nickname was Happy One. And truly I was. I was born with a very gentle, happy, joyful nature. And then I turned 13. Within 1 month, when I was 13, an avalanche of events happened. My dad went to jail. My mom lost her mind. My sister went to college. Even my cat saw what was happening and he just took off. I mean, literally the day after my dad went to jail, I lost my entire family. And then I got to start a new school. So I went from, having problems, but not big problems, to being every day was like a PSA or the more you know, or an after school special. It was strange. And the reality of the situation really hit when I came home one day and I tried to open the door and I was pushing it and I couldn't open it. And I kept pushing and pushing it. I look down and I see the microwave and I think, that microwave used to be in the wall. And then I see my mom, and my mom has sort of a manic smile and she says, I'm remodeling. And I look at the kitchen, destroyed. I see the axe. She's chopped up the entire kitchen where my dad cooked all my meals. And now I don't know where I'm getting food. So I don't know if any of you have ever been in that position where everything went wrong at once. I was in shock. I had PTSD. Social services should have been there. But instead, I just started to be silent. I stopped talking for an entire year in high school unless I was asked to speak. And at my new school, that made me a great target for bullies. So this story just gets better, but actually it's really important because it completely made me who I am. So I wanted to first ask, was anyone here bullied in high school? You can even write something mean towards your bully. All right, well, I was, and my bully has a name. His name is Nick. He was 6'3", he was 250. He was mean and he was brilliant. And I started reverse stalking him. So I would figure out where he wasn't, and I would go sort of walk that way, and I would find out what time he arrived at school, make sure I arrived 5 minutes later. And then one day in 95, I found myself in a room alone with my bully, Nick. He screams at me, "Pick up that piece of paper." And then I don't know if you've ever had this moment where your life goes through like a flip book in your head, where you're seeing all these things and all of a sudden things look different. I wasn't afraid. I thought, this motherfucker has no idea who he's messing with. I deal with a daily after school special, and I'm the toughest person I know. And all of us, I start walking toward this giant man. I am furious. And I'm just sort of quiet staring. And he says again, with like a little bit of a less of a timber, I said, "Pick up that piece of paper." And it almost went up on the end. And I just got in his face and quietly whispered, "I would rather die than pick up that piece of paper. You're going to pick up the piece of paper." And he stopped, and he sort of like got a little shocked at the whole thing. And he picked up the piece of paper. And that was the day things changed for me, because later that week, when I was shoving food in my bag from school so I had food to eat, Nick came up to me and he apologized. And then he became my best friend. Nick is the first person to intellectually push me. We became a 2-person book club. He was really, 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 really important. And in 95, he gave me the book Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. And at that point, emotional intelligence was a relatively new concept. Even on the cover, it says, "Why it can matter more than IQ." We now know 70% of success is directly related to emotional intelligence, and 90% of high achievers' performance is related to emotional intelligence. But in that book, the details of the framework, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy. So they say social skills are relationship management. I like relationship management more because we don't exist in vacuums. When I sort of saw this framework, I was like, where's this been all my life? You know, maybe people thought it was a theoretical fad, but for me, I thought, oh my gosh, this is the directions to how to be alive and how to be human. So I started following emotional intelligence framework. I started having conversations with myself about, why was I doing time? I wasn't in jail. Go be happy, go do cool stuff. And then I also realized that, you know, I couldn't control many things, but I could control my motivation. I started studying at 4:30 in the morning and proceeded to go from a bad student to being valedictorian. The lessons to life were in that book, and it led me out of a fundamentally unsafe place. I didn't know whether I would have a shelter or food or anything, but I knew psychologically that I could get through life and my circumstances would change. And that emotional intelligence I studied got me through 2 Ivy League schools, 5 companies, 2 exits. And I've circled back to it now. I feel like in the second season of my career, where I have a company, Culture Theory, with my best friend, and we do emotional intelligence work. And it's so good. But the thing that was most important that I found in that book is I learned how to forgive my family. And they didn't need forgiveness, but once I started learning empathy, and I don't know if any of you find empathy super painful. I do, but I remember just muffling my face. I was crying so hard when I thought about the pain my family was in, and the pain my mom felt, and how embarrassed she must have been, and how sad this must have been for her. It's not the life she wanted for me. And once I could empathize, empathy is the first step in forgiveness. And that was the true gift it gave me, because then I was free, because that all that resentment and pain, it was just gone. So now I'm in the same situation where I use it every single day. And I do my gratitude. I mean, I have 300 activities I could give you right now on emotional intelligence, but mostly it just means that I have good friendships and I have a good marriage. And it was the most important thing that anybody ever did for me was give me that book. And my friend Nick, unfortunately, passed away from pneumonia a month ago. And right beforehand, I don't know why, it was sort of a culmination of events. I told him for the first time about how that book had changed everything. And now that's what I did professionally. And I was able to say that. And in a way, that was a goodbye. So that little girl I introduced you to, happy one, who's joyful and couldn't wait to be out in the world, was restored by emotional intelligence and working it. And so whether you're in a light or dark place, I just want you to know that the framework's always there to be helpful, to make sense, to give words to what's happening, and to understand your life a little better, and then also develop if you choose to, because it will help you lead a more successful life. And in this context, I measure success by joy.
Rebecca, I have to say thank you for sharing. And the audience, the comments are coming in. Arthur Luca is saying thank you so much, and audience, let Rebecca know if you resonated with her story. And Rebecca, that's not easy to share. So thank you for sharing. Just to see how much emotional. I know how much emotional intelligence means to you, but now that I heard a little bit more, So audience members, I want to ask you too. How much do you know about emotional intelligence? But Rebecca, how did you feel sharing your story, and how did you come up with it today, if you don't mind me asking?
How did I feel? I felt like my dog was barking. Yeah, I think I felt really good about it. I felt like I was doing the right thing. I felt like it was honest. And it's true. I have a really hard time revisiting that period of my life. So it was kind of traumatizing, but also healing. Like everyone, we all feel that way when we're trying to share something that is really, it's hard to go back to that time in a way, because for a long time, I just wouldn't let myself think about it. Even 15 years, I just literally just like sort of blocked it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually really healing to talk about it. I'm so grateful for everyone here to give me that chance to just talk about it.
How often do you share that part of your life in public, or do you not, or do you often?
First time, I think. Maybe second. Yeah, I don't share it. Yeah. Like there's part of the story that I told today that I've actually never told. So.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. Javon is saying truly resonated, needed to see this and hear this today. Can I ask you, for those people, Rebecca, who might be thinking the same thing that you might be, and maybe they have a different situation, what would you say to others who have, some parts they don't want to revisit, but maybe they want to share? How do you think they can gain the courage to share? What are your thoughts?
To share things that are uncomfortable.
Yeah. So what gave you the courage actually to share?
I'm just in the best place in my life, so I kind of feel like I was like, it's now or never. I'm going to be comfortable talking about this stuff. My job's to be emotionally vulnerable and doing emotional intelligence work. How can I help any of my clients if I have topics that I won't try and resolve? So I think sharing this just, I think for anyone else, any advice I have no advice for anyone in the world without talking to them, because everyone is so fundamentally different. But I would say that if you feel like you're in a place to speak about something because you're in a strong psychological place, because there's a lot of times not to talk about something, I just encourage you to talk in a safe space. Like Kit is amazing, and I feel very safe. I think I felt like very safe because you're here, because you're a very safe person sharing that kind of thing. And I feel the same thing about Leslie. Like Leslie's a friend now. So just do it with people who are safe, that feel safe. And then, you can roll out from there. The people close to me know these stories. I just don't share a lot publicly. But life's short. And in the chance that it could help someone, I would really like to do that.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing. I'm going to bring up Leslie again, so we can all have a little chit chat before we bring us some other people. Leslie, how are you doing in the back?
Good. I enjoyed the talk, Rebecca.
Thank you. You too. You're such a pro.
Hey, Leslie and Rebecca, I wanted to ask you both, since we have people that's watching live right now, can you both offer some storytelling tips or speaking tips to our audience? Think about it, because I'm going to ask our audience, Catherine, Trevon, Olaruka, Yazen, if you would like to come up and give your story too, let me know in the chat right now so I can put your name in the wheel of names. And I'm going to choose your name a little bit later, but put your name in the chat later. So the people who wants to come up and speak, the question of the day is, what's your story? Okay, you don't have to be perfect. You have a chance to maybe share something you never shared before. It's like Rebecca is saying, it's a safe environment. So for you to try out some things that you never tried out before. But we got Trent saying yes, Zen saying yes. I'm going to put your name in, so give me all your names soon. But Rebecca and Leslie, while I'm doing some typing in the back, I would love for both of you to maybe share any speaking or storytelling tips you have with our audience. I'm going to blank myself. You two can have a chit chat right now.
Okay. Well, I can say I think that Leslie's fantastic with persuasive language patterns. And I love when you speak, because I'm always looking for those. So you can find those all on, like, online and stuff. So I think that that's a really helpful thing that I've learned in the class.
Yeah, and the more I do the exercises that Kit gives us in his class, the more I realize that there is a thread that kind of follows you through your whole life. And I think I'm going to do more journaling in conjunction with this public speaking, because that's tapping into your authentic self. And it kind of brings up what your values are, what really means the most to you. And then in that regard, you can find those things, because even kids like find your story. And, it's kind of work to do that. And I think journaling can help in that endeavor. So I'm going to do more of that and look for opportunities to share my story, even if it's low stakes, where I feel comfortable, and just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward and practicing.
Thank you, Leslie. Yeah, just keep moving forward. Sorry, my mic was muted. So thank you both. Oh, I'm going to put up the wheel of names, and Rebecca and Leslie, I would love for both of you, if you want, stick around, but if you do have to go, thank you for coming up and sharing your story with us today. We'll review your story a little bit later. But I'm going to put up the wheel of names before we blank you out. We have Trevon on the list. Yazan, sorry, there's a car outside. Trent, Olaruka, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. So we're going to choose the wheel of names. So we're going to choose all of it in this order right now. So we're going to go by one. Here we go. Let's see who's going first. All right. Olaruka, you have to tell me how to pronounce the name afterwards. All right. Oh, no, I'm supposed to remove your name. Hold on. Let me stop. Okay, let me try that over. Hey, but Trent, you're going next anyway. That worked. Trent, you're going second. And then the last one, Yasan or Trayvon. Let's see what the order is. Okay, Trayvon, you're third. I'm going to invite you all up on stage, okay? So I'm going to give a link. I am going to give a link on the chat. So you have to, some of you are on YouTube, some of you might be on LinkedIn, some of you might be on some other platform. You have to click that link, and then come in the back on Restream. And let me know if you have any questions about anything so far. But Rebecca and Leslie, thank you for sharing your story. Actually, since you shared your story, and do you have any feedback to give yourself about how you share your story? Did you like it? Did you like it? Maybe things that you did not like. Maybe you liked it 100%. What do you think? Since we're right into it right now.
Like 70. I mean, I really like the talk itself, but I just didn't have a lot of time this week. It was just a really busy week. So I feel I would love to do it more prepared. I just like to keep doing it and get better.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Leslie, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I know when I was talking to you the last time, Kit, you were saying you were encouraging me to tell my own personal stories and not so much focus on the stories of others. And I did think about that, and I did realize that I do have a lot of stories. And so I think I'm going to practice that. Some of them kind of, Rebecca alluded to, it's kind of scary to put that truth out there. Like you say, not everything's pretty, and maybe you don't want to know your father went to jail. Maybe that's something you just keep inside. So yeah, I realized, I have these personal stories, and there's many of them that I don't feel comfortable sharing, but maybe putting that truth out there will be a healing in a way, and maybe something that my spirit needs. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try it.
All right. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to put yourself out there. But like you're saying, Leslie, Rebecca, it could be healing. But of course, depending on the right scenario, your story will have to match. If you're in a room full of executives, well, does the story still match to what you're saying?
Correct.
Yes.
You have to pick and choose the stories and the message that you want to tie back to the story.
Yes.
I actually tried to find a different story because you said, Ty, you told me what to do and that's your story. And you were like, well, how did you get into emotional intelligence? And I kept on trying to find a different story because I didn't want to tell this one. And then I was just like, you know what? It's the only one that's true. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, then that's the story. Sometimes we can't fake it.
Yeah.
You're choosing emotional intelligence because your life made you somehow to. But Rebecca, Leslie, thank you so much for sharing your story. Audience, can we give our featured speakers a big round of applause virtually and in the chat? I'm going to bring Anna Lee up. Rebecca and Leslie, we're going to put you in the background now. Thank you. All right. Oh, hey, it's Anna Lee. How do you pronounce your first name?
You can just call me Anna Lee. I mean, once I become a citizen, you won't see that name anymore. So,
but how do you pronounce that? I do want to hear it.
Odwilka.
Got it. Oh, it's a beautiful name. Okay, Anna Lee. We're gonna give you 6 minutes. Okay. So let me say the order again. So Anna Lee is gonna go first, and then Trent. Yes, Trent, come in the back. Trevon, come in the back too. Okay. There's a link that I gave on YouTube. Anna Lee, I'm gonna give you the space, the virtual stage, and it's all yours whenever you're ready.
So, yes, I'm Nali. This is a very, very long story, but I will try to cut it short. Because also I already wrote a book. It will soon be published between May and June. It's called The Life I've Lived Through My Imagination. So it starts from my childhood, from questions and wonders I had in my childhood. Um I could see even if I was a child that things were not right and things were not just, even if sometimes in talk my family would say this is the way they were raised and this was what made them good people. But I just went on with it, but I could see that I could see that something was wrong.
Hey, Annalie, sorry to cut you off. There's a. It's hard to hear you. I think there's an echo. Or what mic are you using? Is it your computer webcam?
I it's web. I don't think it is webcam. I don't,
Oh, now it's good. Oh, I can hear you now, but when you were speaking a bit earlier, it's an echo. Okay. Anyway, go back. Go.
okay. Yes. So then my family, yeah, I was born in another place. I was not born in the US. I came to the US in 2015. But before I came to the US in 2015, even if we were supposed to come to the US together, first of all, my real mother died. First of all, my real mother died when I was 6 years old. And then, sorry about that. I don't get what's
Oh no,
happening.
no. You know what it is? When I'm on the screen, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay.
I think sometimes like that. So I'm gonna, I'm well, Max. I will still be on screen for some reason. I'll just walk away. But then you keep on, you keep
Okay.
on, you keep on talking. Okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, no, hold on. Oh, I'm gonna make you bigger. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on, Annalie. I'm gonna do the switch.
So, yes. So, but then my mom came to the US. I mean, I call her mom because she adopted me since I was little when my real mother abandoned my sister and me. And so, yeah, it is a long story. But still, I think there's a matter with culture, what I call cultural abuse. Then, when my mom came to the US after the earthquake that happened in 2010, I think, my aunt came to the US. Now it was my sister, me, and our father, whom I am very ashamed to call father. I don't think he's my father. I just interpret it as the person God used to give birth to me. And yeah, I got to understand a lot of things because I had a very complicated childhood. I mean, now I'm working with children, I'm a teacher assistant, and seeing how things work, I don't think it was a childhood what I had. I cannot detail it because I have only 6 minutes, but I am actually writing books, a lot of them, which need editing. So one will know my story and the bigger scales. But something I realize is that things are not right. And now I was so sure because that was for the first time I watched TV and I didn't. I mean, my father was not usually all the time at home. We used to watch TV and I didn't. So yes, it's very complicated. And I learned a lot of things from movies, film. Like I did not just watch movies and things, soap operas for fun. I thought it was a metaphor for real life experience. And I learned a lot from it, from them. And I realized something's not wrong. And I thought my culture was the only one to criticize. Until in 2018, I realized the matter is with the entire world. It's not only with culture. But yeah, I grew up. I don't have any nationalists for my country, but something now which I'm very which made me an advocate because if I write and I want to use more skills, more other tools to advocate for what I want to advocate. But for now, I just use writing, even though my writing cannot be out there. And yeah, I choose. This is why last time when I spoke, I say why I believe that humility matter, and I tend to. People think I tend to want to be honest. I mean, I am doing very hard to be an honest person because I don't like hypocrisy. I mean, all the things that go on in the world, I think the matter is hypocrisy. Like we tend to show a different face in society for respect and all this stuff, wall and closed door. We are someone else. And because of that, a lot of people are suffering and nobody can discern that. So now I'm seeing something in myself, which is I am being the person I don't want to be. I think I'm being transformed into the people who have hurt me in my life. And I don't want to hide that. Most people think I'm a good person and that, and I would have the courage to say, oh no, I'm not. And people think, or for example, when people tell me a compliment, which I know I don't, I say, no, I'm not. And people think like, are you crazy? Or some say I have low self-esteem. I did have low self-esteem, but that has nothing to say. And I would say I'm just trying to be honest. And people are like, what? It's like, are you fooling people? Who is honest? Like, nobody is that determined to be honest. But I would like people to know my full story one day so that they understand why I am very strict on I want to be honest, and I believe everyone should be honest at the fullest, because this lack of honesty has hurt me a lot since childhood. And for 6 years, I have tried to kill myself, praying to kill myself. I remember every new year, there would be a church service, and the pastor would say hallelujah because you're still alive. I never raised my hand because I would not thank God because I'm alive, because that was not a blessing to me. The greatest blessing that would be to me was if I died. So yeah, for 6 years, I have not only attempted, I have prayed and tried, and sometimes I was very upset to see that I am alive, taking the bus and going to school when I was expecting maybe not to wake up the next day. But I don't have time to tell this story because it's so long. But yes, this is why I value integrity a lot. And there's one factor I believe is very important in human beings. I will call to wisdom, because I believe if most humans embraced it, I would not have the story I had. I would not have tried. I've willed only for death for more than 6 years. And even though I thought I was only cursed until I became member of this online platform, Quora, in 2017, and I had to read the stories of so many people. And it was so hard for me to see that I was not the only young girl who is going through trauma. It would have been better if I was the only one. But knowing there were more than million, like you couldn't count them, they had their stories. And a lot of them were young people. If they were not young people, the story they told recalled from their childhood to their youth years. And I realized that our traumas and the outcome of who we are starts from childhood. If our childhood was twisted, then who we are may be twisted. By chance, we may use what we have seen in our childhood to be someone else, but not a lot get the chance to do that. And I decided to be an advocate for humanity, advocating for integrity. So,
All
yes.
right. All right. Thank you, Annalie. Sorry, I was just maxing myself up. Yes. Annalie, I want to say, just thank you for sharing. And yes, there was some technical, audio technical these earlier, but I think you got everyone caught back up with your story. So I just want to say, Annalie, thank you so much for sharing. And an audience, can we give a virtual round of applause for Annalie? Annalie, when next, thank you. It was good to see you again. I know from last time I saw you. Annalie, thank you once again for coming up and sharing your story. I'm going to bring up the next person now, okay? Trent, Trent, you're supposed to be next, but you're not in the back yet, okay? So come on back. The next person is going to be Trayvon. And again, can we all say thank you to Annalie? Thank you, Annalie. Okay, next, we're going to bring up Trayvon. So Trayvon, turn on your camera, because on the back end, I can't see your camera yet. So when I bring you on, oh, here we go. Annalie. Hey, Trayvon, good to see you.
Okay, next, we're going to bring up Good to see you too.
So hey, turn off the YouTube in the back. I can hear myself.
On the back end. I can't see your camera.
I do that all the time. That's what happened in the beginning.
Okay. All right. How
Hi.
are you?
I'm good. Trevon, good to see you. I'm going to give you 6 minutes. So when your 6 minutes are up, I'm just going to pop on screen. Okay.
Got you.
So what you can do too, you can also time yourself if you would like. This is a trick that as a speaker that I do too. Sometimes I just put on my clock, and I know if I have my 1 minute, I better cut it down.
Got you.
All right, Trevon, I'm going to give you the stage, and thank you for being on here with us. Everyone, can we give a virtual round of applause to Trevon? Let's welcome Trevon.
Thank you
Trevon,
so much
all
for
yours.
having me. Thank you. All right, you guys. Hi, my name is Trayvon. I'm a peer mentor for the NAM project. Right now, I'm at home and I'm currently taking a break from school, which has been very helpful for me mentally and spiritually. It has also helped me with finding my purpose. I've had a lot of time to educate myself by reading more, spending time with God, and building towards my career, which is to be a public speaker. I have benefited from having a good support group of friends, family, and more importantly, God. And I want to provide that support and encouragement to others by using my voice to help those who struggle with mental health challenges. I am a person that struggled with psychosis. In high school, I was hospitalized frequently and dealt with intrusive thoughts. And I thought that people were able to see what I was thinking. And this caused me a lot of embarrassment because I believed that all my private thoughts were on display. I felt like I couldn't fit in and was being judged by my classmates. I was socially awkward, so that made it even more tough to reach out and make friends. I just didn't feel accepted. I also dealt with expectations of our society that said that I had to do certain things to be seen as cool or valuable. I felt pressure to smoke. I felt pressure to do drugs. I felt pressure to be sexually active. But those things went against my morals. And so that made it even more difficult to fit in. Our generation grew up with social media, so I was also seeing these negative expectations online. These toxic standards strongly affected my mental health, and because my self-worth and identity were heavily influenced by how people perceived me. I thought that people could see my feelings of rejection, and this caused me to overthink. Because of this mental turmoil, I ended up being hospitalized, also because of my declining mental health and psychotic episodes. When I left the hospital, I joined a therapeutic program, and my therapist introduced me to my mentor, and I started building my coping skills. My therapeutic mentor helped me manage my obligations and helped me connect with useful opportunities. One of those opportunities was Year Up, a program that supports young adults in gaining skills and experience to find their career path. Also started going to the gym as a way to get out of the house and take care of myself better. At the gym, I met some good people who became close friends. These friends supported me through this challenging stage of my mental health by helping me balance my thoughts and my emotions. Spending more time with God and having a support system made me feel less alone and gave me guidance. Now my psychosis symptoms are a lot better, but I've started dealing with some new mental health challenges like anxiety, especially because of this pandemic. It was such a quick transition. I went from not being able to find essentials at the grocery store to becoming unemployed to complete lockdown. It was like a horror movie, but I was featured in it. Hearing stories about the possible second COVID lockdown and all the internet speculation has further fueled my anxiety. The economic issues I was experiencing only added to that stress. I'm a social person, so not being able to see my friends and family in person was really tough for me too. Having my whole life turned upside down was a hard pill to swallow and really affected my mental health. Because of all this uncertainty, I felt really uneasy and tense. My heart would begin to race, my limbs would shake. It was hard to focus on anything. I had never felt anxiety like this before, and it was difficult to accept. What has been helping me through this time is reading the Bible. Interestingly enough, many of the scriptures I read had to do with how to cope with anxiety and fear. My main takeaway is don't worry about things you just can't control and ultimately trust in God. Reading God's word has also helped me figure out my purpose. I want to motivate others to find their purpose in God. I also want to help others deal with negative thoughts by building healthy coping skills like gratitude journaling, positive self-talk, and so much more. Another coping skill I use is called testing a thought. If I have a negative thought, I test the thought to see if it's true and if it makes sense. And if it doesn't fit this criteria, I let it go as if it's floating down a river. Another thing I do to manage my anxiety is talk to my girlfriend, my friends, and my family through FaceTime and phone calling to spend time with them and to stay in touch. I'm glad that I have my friends because they've been a huge support for me during this time, just like they were when I was struggling in high school. Something that I've learned during the last 6 months is that having the right attitude is important. I'm choosing to focus on what I have and the positives in life. I'm thankful for my friends, my cousins, my girlfriend for helping me remain focused and grounded. I also have a podcast with one of my friends called YKKM. This is an acronym for Young Kings Kingdom Mindset that talks about mental health, tapping into your inner strength, and the purpose of life. Making this podcast really helps me with motivation and direction. During this pandemic, I have made an effort to think, reflect, and approach life from a different perspective. Prioritizing God has helped me see that I am greater than my circumstances. Once again, my name is Trayvon, and this is my story.
Right. Hey, Trayvon. That was great. Everyone, what did you think about Trayvon's and his story? Trayvon, how was that for you?
It was good. It was really good. Um, I was really just really into really into like explaining like kind of what happened and the transition of what I've learned, just kind of taking away from what Leslie said by being vulnerable, and also just kind of just being real in your life and your struggles, which was helpful for me.
Yeah. Thank you. I love how you ended it too. You're like, "Hey, my name is Trayvon, and this is my story." That was great. I can see you saying that on like some Netflix show.
All right, man. Thank you.
Hey, Trayvon, it's good to see you. I'm going to bring up our next speaker, Yazan.
Thank you
So,
so much
Trayvon,
for having me.
thank you for sharing. Let's keep in touch. All right, Yazan, you're going to be next. So, Yazan, put on your camera. I'm going to bring you up. Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, Yazan, can you hear
Hello.
us?
Yes, am I audible?
Oh, yeah, perfect. Okay, Yazan, I'm going to give you 6 minutes on the clock. Oh, by the way, Trayvon, yours was literally around 6 minutes. So good job with the timing. Yazan, I'm going to give you the stage. How you feeling?
It's great.
Okay. Yazan, we're going to give you the stage. It's all yours.
Okay. Hello everyone. I'm Yasen Vidnath, calling to you from Sri Lanka. I'm 19 years old boy, and I'm a web developer. So, myself, today I want to share with you some of things I learned in my life. I hope that's gonna help you guys as well, because back in when I was a 10-year-old boy, I was couldn't able to speak any and even only one word in the English. You know what my friends said about me? They said they may always make fun on me because in Sri Lanka our mother language is Sinhala. English is like a foreign language. Uh, in in my 10 years old, in I am 10 years old, I told my friends like, hey dude, I'm gonna be a professional public speaker when I was grow up. And they make fun on me. They said, dude, you cannot barely even talk any English word. How you gonna end up being a speaker? Oh, how you gonna speak with English? And I said them, yes, now I can, but I know that I can achieve it. I can speak English. I do write it, so I can definitely talk with English. There's no problem with it. And they laugh at me and left away. And here I am talking to you with English. Is that a miracle? Is that a lie? No. Why? I didn't give up. I go on again and again and again. I don't care about others' opinion. I don't care what they think about me. Because people are always too quick to judge and they always criticize you. Though don't give a damn about others' opinion. And the second thing, I was in a school. My teacher said me, You cannot learn IT because you flunk your math test all the time. Literally all the time. I'm stuck at in math. So what happened? At the age of 19, I ended up being a web developer. Is that a lie? No, it's true. It's not. It's a miracle. No, it's not a miracle. It's something I deserve because I believe it. If you want to achieve something, please believe it. Have a faith on yourself. You see, the Walt Disney, the founder of Disney, he once said, if you can dream something, you can achieve it. It's true. It's very, very true because I am a dreamer, like in the Inception movie from Christopher Nolan. I am a dreamer, but I am a dreamer who get their dreams to the reality. Yes, dreams are real. They ain't fake. The fact is, we didn't try to get them to the reality. We gonna think is that it just a stupid idea. It's just a dream. Who can achieve that? Come on, don't make any excuses. Let me tell you a story. How about Jack Ma give up on his dreams because he ran out his cash and he nothing to worry about at all? What if you give up? Today we don't have any kind of a platform called Alibaba. How about Elon Musk give up on his dreams because 3 of his rockets fell down? Today we don't have Tesla, isn't it? Don't give up. These people, they never ever give up. Jack Ma once said, if you don't give up, you still have a one chance to win. Give up is a huge failure. I'm following that. Even though you are a successful guy or you are success in your life, please keep going on because success is not final. Failure is not fatal. That's courage, continue, that's count. That's said by Winston Churchill. That's something I believe. FBB. Find yourself, believe yourself, be yourself. It's you. And remember, be motivated. All to you, Mr. Kit Ping. Kit Pang.
Hey.
Sorry.
Hey, Yazan, you're gonna go places one day for of your speaking.
No, actually, I'm dreaming for being someone like you. Actually, I show you immediately your videos. I'm going to the Toastmasters in few months. I'm actually a beginner. I choose a path. I actually learned beginning to actually this is like a dream because I never talked to the like other countries before. Only in the Toastmasters.
Yazan, actually, no. Since you're talking about this is your dream, and I want everyone in this chat as well, and for everyone in the back, we have like a chat going on in the back, a chat going on YouTube here. Yazan, first, thank you for sharing. But I want all of you to type in right now, okay? Yazan, even yourself, type into the chat. It seems, one of the biggest reasons that you are all probably on this platform right now or watching this live or the replay of this is because you want to become a better speaker. So what is one of your dreams that you want to achieve as a speaker? And Yazan, since you're on, I want you to give us one clear thing as well. But what is, audience members, what is one of your dreams that you want to accomplish as a speaker? Okay, and make it tangible. Make it seem like, okay, one day you can actually achieve it. Okay, it's something that's achievable. So Yazan, what would you say for you? And actually, that's good. For the people who's in the back, I want to bring everyone up too, if you want to, okay? I want to ask you, what is one of your dreams for your next level when it comes to speaking, okay? So Annalie, Trevon, Rebecca, and Leslie. I'm going to bring you back up, and then we're going to close the whole event. Okay? Boom. We'll bring. How many people can I? Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right, but Yazan, you go first. Okay, you were talking about your dreams.
Okay.
Tell us. Hey, Trevon, turn on your camera. All right. Oh. All right, Yazan, what would you say?
Okay. Actually, I need to make changes in people's mind. Actually, we cannot change the world, but we can change people's. That's I believe. Like we can change individually, because changing a world is like a dictatorship. It's never gonna exist. We
Yeah.
can change our mind to clear path. Actually, I was a little kid. I listened to the Tony Robbins speeches. I love. I actually dreamed to be someone like him. Like actually, the fashion, the way he delivered the message is unique. I love it. The smile, the confidence, the power is like wow. So I need to be successful. Actually, I need to cut the cheese because everyone need to be successful in their life at any point, at some point. I need to be one too. Being a speaker is a help. We can help to other people's and the businesses as well to clear people's mindset. So what to do? I
Yeah.
can help people and make because it's something I like.
Yeah. So, Yazan, I can see you definitely. You mentioned Tony Robbins. I can see you aiming toward that path in the future.
Thank you.
But Yazan, thank you for sharing. Who wants to go next? If you want to share, Leslie, Annalie, Rebecca, Trevon. No order here.
Okay. So, when I decided to write to advocate for humanity and the change I want to see, I think that is needed for humanity to be really what it should be. I realize that writing is not enough because not all people love to read, and no matter what, not all people will understand really or will be interested in what I write. So I realized that I have to use many other ways. So this is why I'm starting to learn filmmaking. And I realize when I look at Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and how she's an activist, she also used her voice and not only her novels. I want to be like I also want to use poetry like Amanda Gorman, and I realize I can also use public speaking to go into detail about using my stories, the stories of others, with permission to explain why I hold on to what I believe is right. So yes, I have had many people like Chimamanda Adichie the most who has inspired me, Brené Brown. But also, I just realized that writing, documentary, filmmaking, the industry I want to also use to advocate will not be enough. People tend to be very interested if someone is on stage and they're here to listen. I think it will be the greatest pitch to send my message as well. So this is why I want to be a public speaker as well. Mostly, I also want to be a lawyer.
Well, Annalie, it seems like you have a lot of things going for you, and that's great. Like it seems like you have so many interests in passion. So Annalie, thanks for sharing. Okay, Leslie, Rebecca, or Trevon, anything from your side?
Oh, for me, I would go ahead. Go ahead, Trayvon.
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
Yeah, what would you say would be your next level as a speaker, or let's say your dream as a speaker?
I would say my dream as a speaker is to master the art of speaking. I really believe that this is my purpose. I believe that mastering the art of speaker is a very important skill to have, because when you open your mouth, you're telling the world who you are. And I believe, us as people, we all have a part to contribute, So that's why, that's what I want to do as a speaker. I want to learn how to grow. Because when I speak to people, it's not just me speaking to people, it's also me helping it's helping me too, So it's kind of like it's a relationship you have with, people that, that you speak to.
Yeah. Master, Trevon, keep at it, man. Master the art of speaking. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Leslie, we'll pass it to you.
I guess the next step for me is to do more workshops around personal styling with the purpose to inspire those people to accept themselves just as they are and to be the best version of themselves that they can be.
Yes, Leslie. And Leslie has a workshop coming up next week.
Ooh.
Wednesday, I think, right? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
What's the workshop?
It's on personal styling.
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
Please
If you
do.
want to join.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Okay.
Rebecca, what about you?
I have this class, and working with you has definitely made me commit to being outward facing for the first time at my company. I've sort of always thought that. And now we have a blog. We already have like 10 blog posts that we've written that are going out. So we'll have a blog for the next 6 months rolling out. And then we're also launching a podcast, and our first episode will be the next 2 weeks. I definitely want to continue doing public speaking, and more importantly, doing the work of learning how to publicly speak, because I found that it's helping presentation skills, executive presence skills. It's helping all these other skills that have nothing to do with public speaking, but they do. So I definitely am not, I would love to continue public speaking. I think it's really good for me. So but it's also led to all these other things. So I'm just very grateful for really meeting you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. It's great to meet you. What's the podcast name, Rebecca, by the way?
Oh, it's going to be, oh shoot, I came up with it. Something with the Emotional Intelligence Show.
Okay, that's
we had
good name. Good name.
We had so many titles, but it was just So so that'll be coming out soon, and we're already lining up guests. So excited!
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. It's a good name. It's a clear, simple name that people can remember. Well, thank you all for sharing. Leslie, Rebecca, Yazan, Annalie, and Trevon, thank you for coming up on stage. We're going to wrap it up for today, but I just want to say thank you all for sharing your story, everyone. Well, everyone that's watching live or the replay, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.